New York Jets stock report time, our risers and our fallers after week 13. Let's do it.
Hold up.
Stock up, booming. Garrett Wilson, my goodness, what a stud. 8 catches, over 160 yards, and there was a lot of meat left on the bone. Would have had an 85-yard touchdown if Mike White hits him in stride down the sideline after toasting Patrick Peterson, and that left toe just hits on the chalk for what would have been another 50-plus yard touchdown. The number 10 overall pick is a bona fide superstar in the making, confirmed. Garrett Wilson, stock through the roof. Stock down, Tyler Conklin. Tyler Conklin had 3 drops in his 4 years with the Minnesota Vikings. 3. He had 3 drops in 4 quarters against his former team. The revenge game was not. Tyler Conklin's had some decent production in garbage time, but I got to be honest, overall, he's been pretty disappointing. This was an all-time low. We need him to bounce back big time in Buffalo. Stock up. Greg Zuerlein, hey, the most productive offensive player for the day. Jets defense stalled out in the red zone, but Greg made sure they stayed on the board and hit a 60-yard bomb at the end of the first half that probably would have been good from 70+. What an absolutely clutch signing by Joe Douglas to get Greg the leg in-house with the Jets. Stock down. Corey Davis. I know he made a gutsy, great clutch catch in the fourth quarter. He's done a lot of that this year, but he's also done a lot of drops, the highest drop percentage on the team, and 2 just mental errors costing us 15 yards in penalties. He's our highest paid offensive skill position player by far. You just got to be better than that, Corey. We're going to need more down the stretch if we're going to be a playoff team from Corey Davis. Stock up. Bam Knight, over 100 scrimmage yards in his first 2 games in the NFL. Where does Joe Douglas keep finding these guys? I like the way this kid runs. Smooth, angry, good vision, solid production, both running and catching the football. I think the Jets should continue to feature Bam as long as Michael Carter is on the shelf. Stock down. Max Mitchell struggled a little bit, got cooked for a sack, and then boom, he was out and George Fant was in. I presume George Fant will be the starter, but hey, you could do a lot worse than Max Mitchell for your backup. But for right now, getting benched, your stock has to go down. Stock up. Who replaced him? George Fant. George Fant, his knee has not been right for a long time, but that was the best I've seen him move since he got hurt last December. The penalty was kind of a killer, but a healthy George Fant is going to be a huge boost to this offensive line down the final 5 games. Stock down. Our defense, particularly our third down defense. Now, overall, the defense, they gave up 17 points in the second quarter, but they weren't done any favors by our offense. And it's not like the Vikings hung up a ton of yards. Under 200 passing yards for Cousins, under 50 receiving yards for Justin Jefferson. We were just situationally bad. In the red zone on the third downs, those issues that plagued us those first 3 weeks of the season started to raise their heads a little bit on defense this week. Got to get that shored up heading into Buffalo. Finally, stock up. Quinnen Williams doesn't think he can go any higher, but really for what he did in the run game and then the toughness of getting his shoulder dislocated, popping it back into place, and then finishing the game. We got to cut a check, whatever it takes to keep Quinnen Williams a Jet for a long time. And finally, stock down. Both safeties. I think that they're better than what we had last year, right? But I think both LaMarcus Joyner and Jordan Whitehead have worn their lumps in coverage and missed tackles this year. There was that play where Kirk Cousins just closes his eyes, chucks it up in the air, has like 5 minutes of hang time, it feels like, and Jordan Whitehead runs right by it, and it is pretty rough from those two. Jordan Whitehead, the penalty, although it was kind of a ticky-tack call. So those are the risers and fallers after Week 13. Subscribe if you are new, and we'll talk Jets football soon.